wait for the iqamah and wait for them to gather. You can pray now and do it and reach Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala before all of them. If you listen to him, you had fallen into the riyah, definitely. If you come to the masjid, let's say you defeated him, and you come to the masjid and you pray, you take the sign and you want to pray your sunnah. You pray your sunnah, you're praying your sunnah, and then the shaitan comes to you and he starts whispering to you, oh, they're watching you, don't make your ruku' long. The wajib is one, Subhana Rabbi al-Azim. That is the least you can do, the wajib. Everything after that is sunnah. Do one and get up very quick. But that is not the normal way you pray. And if you end up listening to him, then you are falling into the riyah. Ignore him, don't pay attention to him, and do what you usually do. That is how you defeat him. And that is how you keep your intention straight. But once you start listening to him, then that is riyah itself. So that is very brief, talking about this disease and about riyah. أول ما يحاسب عليه العبد يوم القيامة. The very first thing that a person will be held accountable on the day of judgment. The very first thing that you will be held accountable for on the day of judgment. يقول النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إن أول ما يحاسب عليه العبد يوم القيامة من عمله الصلاة فإن صلحت فقد أفلح وأنجح وإن فسدت فقد خاب وخسر. The very first thing you will be asked about is salah. That is the very first thing that you will be asked about as a servant of Allah and as a slave of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is your salah. That is to show you the significance and the seriousness of this salah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had prescribed in the heavens. Allah, the only thing He prescribed on His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the heavens in the night of Al-Isra wal-Mi'raj was salah, to show you the significance and the importance. And your salah is your salah. And when you look at the situation of the Muslims and you look at what they had done with the salah, your heart will break and your eyes will tear. When you see what they have done with the salah, that is their connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and their meeting with Allah every day, and you see how they neglected it and how they ignored it and how they lost it. You find the person might not pray once a week, and that is on al-Jumu'ah. That might be his behavior for years and years, that the only time he prays is al-Jumu'ah. And you find other people that the only times they pray is in al-Eid. Al-Eid, he comes for Salat al-Eid and he has no right, and this Eid is for those who obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and al-A'yad is to celebrate your connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he thinks he's entitled for this celebration. So the only time you see him coming to the masjid is on the days of al-Eid, or coming to the musalla to pray on the days of al-Eid, and he might come late, and even that. And some people don't even pray. The only one time they come to the masjid, not to pray, but to be prayed upon. Some people, the only time, some Muslims, the only time they come into the masjid, they never come walking, they come carried on. They're carried on, not to pray, but to be prayed on. And those people, it would have been better if they would have kept and would have been buried somewhere else outside the graveyards of the Muslims without any salah on them. They did not fear Allah in their life to pray. Why you think they deserve to be prayed on? They don't. They don't. So it's very important to realize that the seriousness of the matter when it comes to the salah, and the lack of understanding of this danger, and the lack of the understanding of the importance of the salah. That's why it made a lot of people negligent of it and not even paying any attention to it. The Prophet ﷺ said, the very first thing that you very first thing you will be asked about in the day of judgment is your salah. If it's good, then what's after it is good. If it's good, everything that comes after is easy and good. Success, najah, wa falah. And if it's bad, then don't expect great after that. That is salah, your connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, on 5 times a day. If it's not good, what you expect? He who's not good to Allah, he gonna be good to the creation of Allah? He who's not good to the one who provides for him, the one who gives him air to breathe, the one who gives him food to eat, the one who gives him water to drink, he's not even good to him. He doesn't even show him gratitude. With small ibadah, and that is salah, that might take 15 or 20 minutes, the whole salawat, the whole day, and he's negligent of it, and he does not even do it. And even those who do it, when they do it, they don't do it the way it's supposed to be done. When they do it, they're rushing through it. When they do it, they're so hasting and they want to be done with it. And we wish if they want to be done with it for something good, but he wants to be done so he can catch a movie. He wants to be done so he can catch a game. He wants to be done so he can do something that might, if it's not haram, it's makruh, and if it's not makruh, it might be mubah. But that is what he's rushing. If he comes, it happens, he comes to the masjid, he starts huffing and puffing behind the imam, if the imam decides to read a page or extra or less. So very important, that is the situation of the majority of the ummah. And he who visited some Muslim countries can see that the person may be sitting in the coffee shop, or the people sitting in front of the TV watching what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made haram, or maybe watching things لا تسمن ولا تغني من جوع, things that have no benefit. And in the back of it he can hear the muadhin saying حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح, and he doesn't even care. He sees the muadhin and the caller of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala calling upon him to come to success, to come to Allah. Wallahi, if he was called to come to collect $1 or $5, he would have left everything to go get those $5. But here he's sitting in a coffee shop playing with these asnam, alayha akifun, and playing with these things that Allah made haram, and with the nerds and all these things, and smoking and watching what's haram and listening to what's haram. And he has someone calling him for success and for falah with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he's ignoring all that. Ummah like that deserves the victory from Allah. And the same person you find him talking about that we need to defeat the Yahud, we need to fight the Yahud. You can't even fight your desire, and you can't even fight your shahwa, and you can't even fight something stupid like a cigarette, or like playing games and all these things, or watching people kicking a piece of leather right and left in front of them, that might be wars between countries because of this stupid ball. And you want to fight the enemies of Islam? and you want to